Good morning, happy birthday to you. Welcome to the first day of the rest of your life. You see, every day can be your birthday. Every day is your birthday. Even though it's not your actual birthday today, we have two people today whose real birthday is. We'll talk to them in a minute. But why wait to start living a life you love? Why not start celebrating today? Let's go. And I've stolen that let's go thing from a friend of mine. Not really a friend of mine. Somebody I follow on YouTube. A Canadian girl who lives in Kent. Can't remember what her YouTube channel is. If I remember to do so, I'll add it in the comments. But anyway, yes, we're going to talk in a minute about love languages and bad crowds and how they are connected. And also going to talk about the Blinkist book of the day, which is the book of humans, all about human history and how we're related to animals and stuff. Very cool, very interesting. But the two people whose real birthdays it is today, just two, a lady called Meldon Jenkins-Jones. No idea how I know you or where I know you from. I think you're looking like you live in America though, so happy birthday to you when you see this later on today. And the other one is Steph Austin. And I think you've changed your surname. Does that mean you've got married? Or I've just not remembered your surname, not sure. But I've got a really interesting story to talk about with Steph, which I will talk about at the end if I have some time. It's a story I've told many times before, but I don't think I've ever told it to Steph, so she might be interested to hear this story. Anyway, and it's part of my biggest journey as well. It's the turning point in my life. It wasn't specifically to do with Steph, of course, but anyway, I'll talk about that a little bit later on. But happy birthday, Steph. Hope you're having a lovely day. Hope you enjoy the story later on. I definitely will talk about it, but a little bit later on. Because I want to start off with hanging out with the bad crowds. So we all know that as parents, don't we, really? And hopefully, well, maybe not, but sometimes, some of us as children, our parents would have said, don't hang out with the wrong crowd. Don't hang out with those boys or those girls or whatever. They'll take you down the bad path and so forth. So we all know that happens, and we know that feeling of being drawn into things that we didn't really want to be drawn into. Well, I mean, classic example a couple of weeks ago in America, wasn't there? It was the storming of the Capitol, and there was a few people there who were drawn into it, who wouldn't probably have actually done the act. But of course, once everybody else had started and they'd broken through the doors, you just kind of carried along with the rest of the crowd, kind of just went along with it. And we all know that feeling. We all know how that can feel when we just kind of carry on with something because of the people around us have influenced us, or maybe not even consciously done it. And we talked about unconscious things in the past. Hello, viewer, by the way. I can't see who you are, but hello. Thanks for watching. We're not fully aware of the people around us and how they're influencing us. We know that as growing up, we've talked about this before, about how we gain those unconscious beliefs here from our societies, from our beliefs and so forth. If you grew up in Iran or Iraq, for example, you'd have a certain set of beliefs. If you grew up in Norway, you'd have a different set of beliefs. If you grew up in Japan, you'd have a different set of beliefs. South Africa, even America, you'd have a different set of beliefs, because I've talked about this before. For example, you would celebrate Thanksgiving, which we don't do in the UK. We kind of do a little bit. It's a harvest festival thing. It's not really as big. It's certainly nothing like they do in America. But that whole thing is a thing in America, and it's just not a thing here in the UK. 4th of July, same sort of thing. We have Guy Fawkes, and we celebrate on the 5th of November with fireworks and stuff. Whereas you celebrate on the 4th of July. So there you go. Just different people, different beliefs from different backgrounds and so forth. But what we also have is the people around us that surround us. And we've all heard the expression, you become the average of the 5 people you spend the most amount of time with. And this, by the way, this all comes from the Ent-spresso thing from Evan Carmicheal earlier today, which is linked in the description. So go and check that out if you want to see the full version of that. So we all become the average of the 5 people we spend the most amount of time with. And that's not who we are around the most. It's the most spend amount of time with. And actually, Ed Mylett kind of points this out in the thing. It's most active mindset you spend the most time as well. So it's consciously spending time with those people, learning from those people, spending time actively engaging with those people. So for example, you could have people around your home and your house where you don't necessarily interact with them that much, and they drag you down, they make you feel bad, and so you just spend less time with them, just naturally. And that's basically the whole point of this thing, is that if you don't want to be drawn into a bad crowd, choose your crowd, choose who you're going to hang around with, and try and pick people who are going to lift you up, who make you feel good. Look around at the people you spend the most amount of spend time with, and who lifts you up. Who do you walk away from feeling like you've had an amazing time, feeling like you can take on the whole world after you've spent time with them. I know there's a couple of people who watch my videos and feel the same way about me, watch my 10 minutes and they walk away thinking, yeah, I could take on the world after this. Thanks for your enthusiasm, John. It's fantastic. So yeah, so I'm glad that I help people in that respect. But yeah, so who are you spending the most amount of time with, and who are you actively spending the most amount of time with, so you don't get drawn into the negativity of people who don't have your best interests at heart, who pull you down, who don't make you feel good about your life, who don't help you to achieve your goals. We had an example yesterday. We do a Pomodoro sessions with a group of people, and there's a lady on there, Valentina, who hopefully she'll see this eventually, and I always enjoy interacting with her. She always makes me feel, doesn't do anything particular, just something about the way she is, the way she smiles, just makes me feel like, makes me feel better. just lights me up inside, and makes me want to do more and want to achieve more. And I didn't go on the call yesterday, and I posted in the group to say, sorry I missed it, this other stuff happened, and I was doing this other thing and I got distracted. And she came back saying, I'm very disappointed in you, John. And that really hurt. In a good way though, because it made me think, I've let her down. She's felt bad for me because I didn't do the things that I should have done, that I chose to do the wrong things. We talked about should and chose before. And so I think that was Jen on there. Hello, Jen. So it made me feel like I wanted to do more and achieve more because she had said, I'm disappointed in you, John. And it just made me feel great. It was a really, really useful thing. She might have thought she was being negative, but actually she was being really positive because she was just saying, I want you to be better, John. That's what it is. I want to lift you up. I want you to be better, John. And that's really cool. Similar sort of thing with Sophie as well. We talked about Sophie in Bali a couple of times. She always kind of lifts me up, makes me feel better about myself. And Anna in Hungary used to do the same thing as well, but I don't talk to her as much anymore, so it's kind of frustrating. But I always used to enjoy talking to her. Because she used to challenge me and ask me questions and make me want to learn more and find out more and help to tell her how to explain things to her. It just made me feel better. So yeah, so all these things can improve your life. How does it relate to the 5 love languages? By the way, if you've never looked at the 5 love languages, go check out, just Google 5 love languages and go to the 5 love languages website. Hello, Zoe. Hello. Well, thanks for watching. And find out what your love languages are. There are 5. And mine in order of the ones that I like, for those who are watching. Valentine's Day coming up, by the way, if you want to know how to make me smile and make me happy. Touch, physical touch. Okay, now, COVID, can't do that, obviously, so that's no good. Quality time, though. Spend quality time with me, actually talking to me, spending time with me, enjoying my company, making me feel like you enjoy being with me and you want to spend time with me. So that's quality time. Words of affirmation. So, well done, John. Enjoying your company, like being with you. I love you. I love hearing that. It makes me feel so good and warm inside. Sophie said to me the other day, I kind of out of the blue, and I was like, oh my God, that was so nice to hear. It just made me go, whoa, somebody actually said it. That was amazing. So yeah, so words of affirmation, and then acts of service. So the next one down is like doing things for other people. So it's doing the dishes, taking them to parks or whatever, and taking them out to dinner, that kind of stuff. Doing stuff for other people, acts of service, and then gifts. So buying things for you, saying here's a gift. These are my least favourite love language. I don't like that at all. I don't like being given gifts at all. It kind of turns me off and makes me feel icky and uncomfortable. And so I don't like that. So if somebody gives me a gift, I'm like, ooh, it doesn't make me feel loved. Whereas you hold my hand or you touch my shoulder or something like that, or give me a hug, I feel loved. So that's the top one there. You spend some time with me and make me feel like you want to spend time with me. I love it. You tell me you love me and tell me you enjoy my company, then I love that. You do stuff for me, I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever. Thanks very much, but I'd rather you told me how much you care about me. And this can be really important in different relationships as well, as to whether or not what your love languages can clash completely with somebody else's. So you can tell somebody you love them all the time and they just don't feel loved by it because they hate it. But what they really want is wanting to give you gifts. So I know, for example, that Sophie likes gifts. So I could give her something and it'll make her feel good. So you can learn these love languages from other people as well, especially in your relationship. So you can look at what the other person loves and what they don't love. So even without actually asking them, you can check off, because you can see what makes them feel good and what makes them doesn't make them feel so good. And you can test them, see how they react. For example, you give me a gift and I'm kind of like, oh, okay, thank you. I feel like a little hesitant. But you give me a hug and I'm like, oh, thank you, that's lovely. And you can feel the difference in reaction from me on those two things. And how this ends up connecting with the bad people. Sometimes I think we go with bad crowds because they give us the love language that we're looking for. They give us those affirmations. We do things together. They somehow make us feel better to be hanging out with these people than the other people that we're not hanging out with. And so I think there's a level of, this person gives me something that makes me feel good or better. We talked before about structure. So sometimes when you're coming from a very unstructured house with no rules and stuff, you might go and join a gang because the gang has got structure and rules and stuff that you're looking for, that's giving you what you need and giving you boundaries, whereas the home life maybe isn't giving you boundaries, and that's where that can come from, I think, a lot of the time. So that's how those two things all connect up. So hopefully that was useful information and good for everybody to learn. Going to finish on the little story about Steph. It's not about Steph really, but she was just a critical part of the story. So in 2012, I had run out of money, basically. It was January 2012, and I was sitting in my flat in Cheltenham, and I had some work to do, but I'd arranged to go out for coffee with Steph. I think it was Stephanie, I'm pretty sure it was Steph. I was arranged to meet her for coffee that morning, and I was ready and dressed early. And so I was thinking to myself, shall I stay here and do a bit of work, or shall I take some work with me, sit in the coffee shop and get there early and do some work there? I wasn't sure. And so I thought, well, maybe I should have a coffee here and then go into town, or maybe I should grab my work. And so I walked to the kitchen. And I got to the kitchen. I thought, no, I should grab the work first and then come back and do the coffee. So I walked back to my bedroom to grab the work. And I thought, no, I should put the kettle on first. So I walked back to the kitchen and make the kettle on first. And I did this about 20 or 30 times, backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards. And I thought, whoa, what is going on here? This is ridiculous. And so then I sat down to make myself a coffee. I thought, right, I'm just going to have a cup of coffee while I sit and think about what the hell's going on and why my mind is just gone crazy. And I sat down to drink this cup of coffee or tea or whatever it was. And I just started crying. I could not stop crying, and I was just getting worse and worse and worse. And eventually I got to the point where I couldn't breathe, and I collapsed onto the floor, couldn't breathe at all, couldn't think straight. I was struggling with my breath completely. And I thought I was having a heart attack. I thought I was going to die. And I was thinking to myself, I had to phone for an ambulance, but of course I couldn't breathe. So it's like, how do you phone for an ambulance when you can't breathe? And I thought, wouldn't it be great if somebody invented a business where you could text for an ambulance to say, come and pick me up? And then I thought, well, that's what most people would do with friends. They would text a friend to say, I need an ambulance, come and help me, whatever. And I thought, I don't really have any friends that I can relate to and connect to like that. I'd run out of money, by the way. That was the reason for this, was I'd run out of money in January 2012, and I didn't know how I was going to pay my bills. That was the sort of critical part of this. So we'll come back to that. I think that was, is that Danka watching? Hello, Danka. And Samantha Collins earlier on as well. And so I had this thing going on, and I text my friend Mark, because I remember Mark, who I just started working with as a coach, Mark Griffiths. It was his birthday yesterday, actually. I said happy birthday to him yesterday. And I said to him, and I texted him and said, because he'd said to me, if you ever need me, give me a call. Of course, couldn't call him, but I texted him. And I said, I need some help. Can you come over and help? And he said, I'm in Birmingham. I can't help you. So I told him what was going on. And he said, it sounds like you're having a panic attack. What you need to do is breathe into a paper bag. If you haven't got a paper bag, just pretend you breathe into a paper bag. I didn't do my breathing exercise at the beginning. This would have been perfect. Anyway, so that was it. And so it turns out I was having a panic attack. And as soon as I got control of my breathing, so he just told me to take some deep breaths and to breathe in and breathe out. I've refined that since, and now this is why I teach people myself. And I got control of my breath. Went to see my doctor. The doctor gave me some pills and so forth. And that was also the last time I went on to antidepressants, because she put me on antidepressants. I went to start learning about mindfulness and meditation. And that was on the journey that started me on this way, because I said to myself, I do not want to be on antidepressants. I think that was the third or the fourth time I'd been on antidepressants at that point. And I said, look, I don't want to be on antidepressants anymore. There must be a better way. There must be a better way of avoiding this. So that's what I did. I then learned about meditation, mindfulness, all that kind of stuff, and how to get off the drugs. That's how I started the journey that I'm on today. So that's that story. Anyway, there you go. That's all about me. I'm coming up close to my 15 minutes, which is going to put me a block on Instagram. And I want to make sure that I don't have to edit this, because I hate editing these things. So I'm going to give you the love. Send you some mwah. Oh, by the way, that breathing exercise is just breathe in for 5, hold it for 5, and breathe out as if you're blowing out your birthday candles, because every day is your birthday. We'll do that tomorrow morning, that breathing exercise at the beginning. So take care, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye. Love you all. Take care.